nice. I should be live now, so hi. My name is Giovanna. I'm one of the founders of Virtualbadge-io, and yeah, this is a webinar on which I'm going to walk you through the process of creating certificates or just virtual badges. You're gonna find it interesting if you are, for example, issuing new certificates for a course, or if you're a trainer, or if you have some internal uses, maybe in your company. You have many different ways and many different use cases on which digital certificates might be interesting. So yeah, we're going to discuss a little bit about these use cases. Yeah, I think that's about it. So I'm first going to start with showing you how your receivers experience with the software. So pretty much anyone who starts, or actually better, who receives a certificate from you is going to go through a very simple process. It's a process of, well, receiving the communication via email, and then clicking on the email, and then having their certificate being generated for them. All certificates issued with Virtualbadge-io are, of course, verifiable. So this person that clicks on the email receives a certificate that is unique for them. And verifiable, of course. So that's the first thing that we're going to do on this webinar. The second thing that we're going to do is then going through the actual dashboard. So I'm going to show you how you would create the same certificate that I'm going to show as an example. And yeah, if you have any questions, you are free, of course, to just write them on the chat. Yeah, I think that's about it. Oh yeah, maybe in the end I'm also going to talk a little bit about our different pricing plans and what you can expect and what more the differences that we have there. And I will also introduce a new feature today, which is a feature that we're testing. So if you think this feature might be interesting for you, please just let us know, get in contact with us, and tell us that you're interested in becoming a beta tester for this feature. So I guess we can start. As promised, okay, what you see right now is my dashboard on Virtualbadge.io. You see that I have many different certificates here that I have issued previously. But before we get into the dashboard, I would like to show you how, as I said, how your recipients will experience their virtual badges. So the whole experience starts via email. We define the email, so this is literally your logo, your color codes. You define the text that's being sent to this email. You define the person and the subject lines. And this is a completely white labeled email. So the recipients will receive an email inviting them to access their certificates. And all they have to do is press on Get Certificate. Oops, the page loaded in another tab. Let's bring it here. So as soon as they click on that, they will be redirected to this landing page. Now this landing page is again completely aligned with your branding, with your color codes, and you can see again your logo. And this landing page is also supported in a bunch of different languages. It will load in the language of the browser of your recipient. So this one's in English at the moment, but if I'll be accessing it from Portugal, for example, I would have a Portuguese landing page. So all what your receivers again need to do is click on Agree with the terms of use and choose a social media to connect with. This is important because of the profile picture and the username. So I will choose to connect with LinkedIn, and it's going to load, and perfect. Now you see that my certificate just got created, and I have my profile picture from LinkedIn and my username from LinkedIn being automatically added to this certificate. What you can see as well is that I have many different possibilities, many different buttons where I can share the certificate to, and I can also just download it. So I'm going to, for example, share it to LinkedIn. And now what you see is this predefined post. Yeah, we have a predefined post, we have the hashtags that are fixed and the predefined text. The hashtags cannot be altered by our users. So I'm using Virtualbadge-io, digital certificate, online course. These are all hashtags that I could follow on social media later on to see how the certificates that I am issuing are actually behaving on social media. But the predefined text is something that your participants can change. So this is an example about a finance course. It's called Finances and Sustainability. And yeah, this is just an example, so any certificate could be here. And you see that I have a text saying, a very, I think basic text, saying, yeah, I have successfully completed this course and whatever. Thank you so much for everyone who supported me. Of course, if the person does not want to share it with this text, they can just delete it and type something different. So I will delete this part and then share it to my LinkedIn profile. And that's it. That's the process of creating certificates with LinkedIn. I can also open my LinkedIn profile to show you how the post looks like. Just a sec, let's let LinkedIn load and do its thing. Perfect. So, internet's never so good when you're doing something live, right? I noticed that already. So here, I have just shared this post, and as you can see, these are the hashtags, this is the predefined text, and that's how the recipients would see. Now, what's also interesting is that they can just download it as a PDF format. So again, with one button, the participants would be able to download their certificates or their LinkedIn badges. Oops, again, it opens in my other screen. And then just share it in another moment, or print it out, or just keep it on their other archived files. And that's it. That's the process of issuing certificates with Virtualbadge-io. Now, I will show you how it looks like to do them from the dashboard. So, the idea of issuing digital certificates with Virtualbadge-io is that you're going to make it very easy for the recipients to experience the whole process. As you can see, it was just clicking on Get Certificate and yeah, adding all of it. Oh, I forgot something very important. I could also have just added the certificate to my LinkedIn profile. So, with one click, again, LinkedIn loads, does its thing. With one click, I would have this page created with all the information about my course. The name of the course, the issuing organization, of course, not Virtualbadge.io, but your company, the credential ID, and the website where the certificate is being hosted. So all the recipients need to do is just click on Save, and this will be automatically added here as a license and certificate to their LinkedIn profiles. Sweet. So what I'm gonna do now is show you how to recreate the exact same, well, maybe not the exact same, but how to start a virtual badge or a digital certificate campaign from scratch. So here you always have an overview on your dashboard of all the certificates that you have active. On this side you have the overview of your organization, so your company name, how many participants can you issue certificates for during your billing cycle, and all of that. And you have this yellow button called Create New, which I'm just going to click, and you see that we are now inside this process of creating a new certificate. So you have pretty much 4 steps, and we're going to go together for all of them. The first one being the designer, and then the campaign setup, recipient view, and then you add your recipients, and that's it. You just have the overview then, when you can send out the certificates, and just track the statistics afterwards. So this button's popping, so I will click on it and choose a template. We have several templates in our gallery, but you're also free to design something from scratch and just upload it here. In case that's what you prefer doing, we have a suggested size, and yeah, you just design something that side and then upload it as an image. Yeah, and everything else takes place exactly how it's supposed to. I will click on Add Signature and say this design has a signature area. I'm gonna call it Giovanna, and I will also maybe add another signature because this design has 2 signature areas. And Malta. Oops, Malta. I could also add, for example, the name of my certificate here. So I could fix it here on the vertical center of my certificate, so I know that it's aligned. And if I select it, I can just call it, let's say, digital marketing course, and make it a little bit tinier. And yeah, That's perfect. So I could also add images and yeah, just build really the certificate from scratch to make it look how I want to. And you can of course explore all the different functionalities here, changing fonts, changing color, changing styles. I will just go to the next part, which is the recipient information. So this is the information that is being pulled from the participants' social media accounts. If you remember it properly, the participants connected either with LinkedIn or with Facebook as soon as they entered this landing page, right? As soon as they clicked on the email. And then their certificate got generated with their own name and their profile pictures. So the default mode says that both profile picture and recipient name will be pulled from social media. If you do not want the recipient name to be pulled from social media and you have like a CSV file with the fixed recipient names, or maybe you just don't want the recipients to be able to change their names, you can just reach out to us and we will allow this functionality on your account. It's currently a beta functionality, so really nice if you want to test it out and join our beta testers. So please just leave it in the comments. What I'm gonna do is just use the default version. So I'm gonna have my profile picture and my username just being pulled from social media. So yeah, you can just like we did previously, organize the certificate, put it where you want it to be displayed. Now click on next. And now you have custom fields. So custom fields are fields that can, well, as the name says, as the name suggests, it customizes the certificates. And there are two types of custom fields. The input fields and the drop-down fields. The input fields mean that you're just giving your recipients a blank field that they can type anything in. So maybe I could call it, I don't know, company or position, or of course, maybe it does not make sense according to what kind of course you're giving, but let's assume this is a training inside the company and you want your participants to be able to type in their company names or even their positions in the company. You could give them the possibility of doing that via just a text input field. Another possibility would be adding a predefined field on which I'm pulling information from the CSV file. So as I said, this is something for beta users, so I'm not going to show you. But just so you know, we do have this feature. If you just find it interesting, you can reach out at any moment. Or the third option is doing it via a drop-down. The drop-down menu is also, I think as the name says, pretty well explanatory. You just give your participants a predefined list of options that they can choose from. So let's say, for example, that's actually a very common usage. We have some participants that are doing like an internal challenge in a company or like a hackathon, and you want the participants to be able to choose whether they participated as a trainee or as a coach or as a marketer or as a developer and so on. So you could have the different positions that this person could have taken in the hackathon in the drop-down menu. This is just one of the examples. I'm gonna use this one. Or it could be cities, for example. Then I can tell the person to select the cities, possible city where this event took place. So I'm gonna say it's a position. I'm gonna say business, marketing, sales, finance. Oops, I wrote that one wrong. Perfect. Yeah, once you're happy with that, you can just click on next and you will be able to see the preview of your certificate. If you're happy with it, you can of course test it, see how it would look like on the finished certificates. I can Virtualbadge-io, you see it's like, okay, this looks good. So you can just leave it blank and save your certificate design. Now that we're done with the designer, we go to the next step, which is the campaign setup. So the campaign setup is pretty much 3 steps again, and we're defining the email editor, so the email that you're going to be sending out to your participants. Then you're going to be defining the sharing stuff, so the hashtags that you're using and the predefined text. And in the end, you're going to be defining the certificate information, so the meta information that it's being carried in all the certificates. So first things first, the email editor. As I said previously, you can just edit everything about it, so you can change the colors to make it fit your branding. The logo that comes here is also the logo that you gave your company, so it's not Virtualbadge-io. And if you want to change the text, you can of course just click and do it. I'm going to say it's been sent from Giovanna, from Virtualbadge-io. And yeah, just press on continue. And now you have this part, which is about the sharing settings. I will say best event, best course ever, or Virtualbadge-io. You know, you can just give all your hashtags and say, and give the predefined text. So I have successfully, I did not write that correctly, completed this course, and I can totally recommend it. Perfect. Let's not leave any typos. And press on continue. Those are my sharing settings, so everyone who clicks on sharing their certificate on social media would have those fixed hashtags and that predefined text. And the last thing that I can do is also defining the certificate information. So as I said, as I showed you here, with one click I could connect the certificate to LinkedIn accounts. So that's how I could do it. And we could also define the meta information, which I have still not shown you. But that's pretty much the information that's going to be taking place whenever someone clicks on the post that your participants did or clicks on the certificate URL. This information is saying, okay, the person that is sharing the certificate really is the person that took the course, or really is the person who received the certificate. That's how the whole validation takes place. So you can have the link to your website, you can leave google.com here, a little description about the certificate. So this is a certificate for a digital marketing course, and so on and so on. I can just save it and then continue. After that, we are on the recipient view. So actually, before I start this third step, I will show you how it looks like. So maybe I can just reload this page. Let's see if it's going to load, or if the internet's going to. Okay, and then generate the certificate, right? That's the link. This is also the link that's embedded on my LinkedIn posts. So when I share something on LinkedIn, or in other social media accounts as well, I have this page taking place, this verification taking place. So you always see, okay, this is Giovanna, the certificate ID is this number, and okay, the person really received it. So anyone who would click here, who would click on the post, from the post that I shared, or who would go to my profile and click on this certificate, would be redirected, let's see, where am I? Yeah, and click here on see credential, would be redirected to this validation page. And now, very interesting, this validation page can also take place inside your website. So currently this one is being hosted inside Virtualbadge-io, as you can see. But you could have it inside your website. Just again, reach out to us, let us know what you have in mind, and we can make it. We can have it inside your website in the format of an iframe. So of course, all the traffic that's interested in the certificates will already be redirected to you. Yeah, that's it. Back to the creation of the certificate now. We have the third and not the third and final step, but the third step, which is the recipient view. So that's the page that your receivers will see as soon as they click on the email. And you can, of course, define the URLs. So what's the URL that or the slugs that your participants are going to see? So I have this example organization, course marketing, it's actually course digital marketing. Course digital marketing, and then the name of the certificate itself. Let's say digital marketing 101, and you can also define how you want it to look like. Maybe you want something a little bit more classic, and this portrait, and so on. You can also choose different colors. And again, you can choose your logo. So the logo that you upload here is also the logo that is going to be on the header of your emails. So I will just click on continue, and now we're ready for the final step, which is just uploading your recipients. So the people who should receive the certificates, right? And you can do it via a CSV file. You can just click on it, select your file, and press on continue. Now, as you see, I did not use any predefined certificate fields because that's a beta version, just the email, normal email, and the recipient name. So I say, okay, on which column is my email? Also have a preview here. and then the recipient name. As I said previously, there are two options. Either you can use it from social media, that's the default option, or you can have the recipient name also being pulled from the CSV file that you're uploading. In that case, you just have to select it here. This view is on the beta test, so again, if you want to have this feature, if you want to have access to it, and if you find it interesting to also have the recipient name being a fixed field on your CSV file, just reach out to us and we can talk about it. So I will leave it to be used for social media and just press on next. And that's it. We're all set. I now can have an overview, right, and activate my campaign. So if I go to the final tab, which is the overview tab, I have this button called activate, which I can totally press. As you can see in this pop-up, activating the campaign is not the same as sending out certificates. A lot of people are a little bit afraid of activating the campaign and then suddenly all your 500 emails are sent out. Don't worry, that's just a mid-step, because as soon as you have this certificate active, it means that this website, this landing page, is also accessible. So we call it the recipient view, right? And I can then access it and see if I like it, see if I like how it's looking, see if the logo looks good, if the colors look good, if my certificate also looks great, and as soon as my internet allows it. And once you do that evaluation, you can say, okay, you know what, I like the page, I'm ready, let's send out the certificates for my participants. So I already accessed the landing page, and I'm gonna just click here and send all emails. Now you see, my emails are good for sending, so I should very briefly receive them. Oops, I actually should not receive them because I didn't use my email here. So I'm going to manually add one more email. Virtualbadge-io, that's me. And I'll leave it blank so I have my name being pulled from social media. Actually, I'm going to Giovanna Berger. I'm gonna have my name there and just click on continue. This is interesting as well. You see that some emails I had already sent out, the emails to some of the participants, but some participants are new. So this one is new, as you can see, not sent. And I can just click on it and send the email directly, or I can just click this button called Send All Emails. Send all emails. This button does not send the copied emails. So it only sends emails to the participants that still did not receive the first email. So if you have, for example, let's say a participant list that is frequently uploaded, you can just add the same list, and yeah, you can just again press on send all emails, and only the email addresses that were still not contacted by you will then receive their invitations. So now it's pending, and I can already see here my overview. So I have the statistic view of my digital marketing course, the amount of participants, the amount of certificates created. Well, it's not a very exciting view so far, given that I have nothing going on. But let's see, maybe I can already show you. Yep, my email is there. So that's the email that we designed together. Congratulations, everything. So me as a participant will just click on Get Certificate. And now from this part, I think we all know how it takes place. I get to connect with a social media software. I get to connect with a social media account. I will use LinkedIn again. And the internet's really bad because it's taking some time to load. So, finally loaded, thank you. So I have here my name, Giovanna, the signatures, the company information I could just change here. So Virtualbadge-io, my position in the company, and I'm gonna put myself as business. And then, again, share to LinkedIn, add certificate to the LinkedIn account. I will this time just click here on continue without sharing. As you can see again, the hashtags that we defined, the text that we defined, everything's there. And then you have also the possibility of just adding it to your LinkedIn account without having to share a post before. We know that a lot of people are not really into sharing, into posting a lot on their social media accounts. But you can just add it to your LinkedIn accounts without having to necessarily post something before. which is what I'm doing. And again, everything here is already predefined, so you just click on Save. And now I have this other example course that I just created, Digital Marketing 101. I could click on See Credential, and we have the validation taking place. So checking if this person, the Giovanna, is really the person who's sharing the certificate and putting the certificate on her social media, really is the owner of a verified certificate. And that's it. That's the process. So let's see, we can refresh the statistics. And I should be able to see, nice, that one certificate was already created. Eventually I will be able to show you as well some social media statistics. Well, I would have to share it on social media, of course, which I did not do. But if when your participants start sharing their certificates on social media, you can see how many of them were shared on LinkedIn, how many on Twitter, and how many on Facebook. So that's a pretty cool scene. And that's it. That's the whole process. Maybe I can open this one, or maybe this one, I think, so I can show the statistics that are, yeah. Okay, this one has 2 badges created, but all of them shared on LinkedIn. So also not the most exciting statistics, but I think you get the idea. And that's it. That's the process, I said, of creating and issuing digital certificates that are verifiable and at the same time that are made for social media. And we have 3 different pricing plans. I will access our website and then I can show you. You can just come here to pricing. And you see that we have 3 different plans. We have a starter plan, a pro plan, and an expert plan. You can see euros or USD, whatever makes more sense to you. And there are some feature differentiations between these 3 plans. We have a starter plan, for example, which is pretty basic. So you have the possibility of activating 1 certificate at a time and just adding 25 people to it. It's really a plan just for you so you have the possibility of exploring the certificate a little bit, understanding how the software works. If you want, of course, more recipients, then the starter plan is already out, but then you have pro and expert plans. And the main difference between them is actually the amount of certificates that you have available. So on the pro plan, you have the possibility of activating 5 certificates at the same time, whereas on the expert plan, you have the possibility of activating unlimited certificates. So you see whether, of course, being billed yearly or monthly, you have different prices. And yeah, that's about it. You just choose a plan that makes more sense to you. You have the whole feature list as well, explaining all the other differences between them. Validation or hosting the validation page is only possible for expert plans as well. So this validation page that we have, let's see if I find it. Okay, this one, for example, being hosted on our website is something that we offer as well for expert plans. If you, of course, reach out to us previously and say that you're interested. And that's about it. So, wow, I spoke a lot. Within half an hour, we spoke how to create a digital certificate from scratch. So everything that you have to go through, all the steps, the badge designer, the certificate designer. I say badge and certificate sometimes because we use those 2 words as synonyms. But just please understand the one that makes more sense to you. So we spoke about the designer, we spoke about how to add the hashtags, how to create the email, we spoke about defining the certificate information, the metadata behind it, we created the participant landing page, we added the recipients, and we activated the campaign. Besides that, I also showed you how the experience from your participants look like. So how they experience the process of receiving their invitation to claim their certificates via email, and what happens once they click on the email, where they go, and how many buttons they have to press in order to have their certificates shared on social media and uploaded to their LinkedIn profiles as a certificate, well, in the section Licenses and Certifications. And that's it. Any questions? Okay, that's going to be the end of our webinar. I think I covered pretty much everything that I was planning on. If you do have any questions still, or if you watch this webinar later on and something comes up, please do just write us. You can also contact us directly at contact@virtualbadge-io, or just leave a comment on the videos. I swear we also check it. And that's it. I hope you enjoyed it. Have a great weekend.